Hi all, and welcome to the filmed recording of the Unlock Your Voice, Healthy School Meals for All Wisconsin Op Ed Workshop. I'm Amelia Wiedemann, and I am a second-year Master of Public Health student at the University of Wisconsin-Madison with interest in community-engaged food security efforts. This workshop was developed by Dr. Jennifer Gaddis, an Associate Professor of Civil Society and Community Studies at UW-Madison, and myself, in response to Healthy School Meals for All Coalition leaders' request to support coalition members construct op-eds that advocate for no-cost school meals in Wisconsin among their respective communities of influence. Before diving into content, I want to highlight several resources that we will be using in this workshop and that you can access while writing your op-ed. The first is the Unlock Your Voice, Healthy School Meals for All op-ed writing workshop document, which includes sample op-eds and publication sources in Wisconsin that accept both letters to the editor and op-eds. We will be referencing this document in the next couple of slides. If you'd like to open that now, that will be helpful. We also offer an op-ed structure template based on the structure developed by the op-ed project. And finally, you have access to Healthy School Meals for All op-ed FAQs, which include questions and answers from our live sessions. Before we begin writing our op-eds to advocate for no-cost school meals in Wisconsin, we have several steps to help set you up for writing success. The first is to understand the difference between a letter to the editor and an op-ed. It is important to know the difference because some publications only accept one or the other, and they have very different requirements. Letters to the editor are typically shorter than op-eds. A typical letter to the editor is about 250 words, whereas op-eds are much longer at 750 to 800 words. Additionally, letters to the editor frequently respond directly to an article that has already been written in a given publication, whereas op-eds can really be on any topic that is relevant to a specific community. Given the fact that letters to the editors are generally shorter, sometimes they are easier to get accepted within a publication. And while this workshop focuses on op-eds, please note that both op-eds and letters to the editor can raise awareness of a topic area, put pressure on policymakers, and clearly explain a complex issue to community members. Next, we recommend that you read sample op-eds and letters to the editor from Healthy School Meals for All advocates around the country. This will help you get an idea of what successful and engaging op-eds look like regarding no-cost school meals. We have compiled a list of sample op-eds and letters for review in the Unlock Your Voice, Healthy School Meals for All Wisconsin Coalition Op-Ed Writing Workshop. The image on the screen is from the document, and as you will see, op-eds and letters are organized by state and focus primarily on states, with the exception of Wisconsin, where no-cost meals have been successful. Additionally, you'll see that with each piece we suggest you read through, we do specify the specific perspective that it is written for. As you can see, we have pieces from nonprofit professionals, parents, school health professionals, as well as students. This is to help you get an idea of the different perspectives that folks are bringing to this topic area and also help you align your talking points with your unique voice. After reviewing op-eds and letters, you will then want to think through the following questions offered by the op-ed project to begin developing your unique perspective. First, why should we readers trust you to discuss Healthy School Meals for All? Are you a parent whose kids used to receive free meals during the pandemic and are feeling financial strain? Or are you a school nutritional professional that has seen firsthand the impact that these meals can have on children? Next, can you back up what you say? Do you have evidence for why Wisconsin should implement school meals at no cost for all? Additionally, you might want to ask yourself, what's new? Is there new evidence supporting the benefits of no-cost school meals? Do you bring a unique perspective to Wisconsin that you have not seen covered? You might also consider about timely events. For example, the fact that a week ago, Evers included no-cost school meals in the 2025 to 2027 biennial budget. You're also going to want to ask yourself, so what? Why should readers and Wisconsin residents care about your advocacy for no-cost school meals? Additionally, and importantly, you're going to want to consider the difference between being right and being effective. For example, how might you make the case for no-cost school meals without alienating community members or making it a more divisive issue? In your community, do you think using the language of free school meals for all might be more polarizing than using the language of no-cost meals? Again, you really want to consider writing for your audience. And then finally, you're going to want to ask yourself, how will your ideas and arguments contribute to the conversation and be helpful to your audience? Will it raise community awareness of this issue, increase political pressure, encourage policymakers to direct more focus on this topic, etc.? What is the goal of your piece? You will then want to review potential submission outlets and decide which one you would like to target for publication in Wisconsin. A list of potential publication outlets in different Wisconsin regions, along with contact and submission information, is available in the Unlock Your Voice Healthy School Meals for All Wisconsin Coalition Op Ed Writing Workshop. An image of this document is highlighted on the screen. Deciding your publication early on will help you tailor your language and topic to your specific audience and also make sure that you meet submission guidelines. This list that we offer is not exhaustive, but it is a starting place, and we acknowledge that you likely have more knowledge on local publications that reach your community or that your community particularly enjoys reading. If you prefer to submit to those, absolutely do so. This is just a list that is to serve as a starting point and kind of get an idea of what different publication outlets have as submission requirements. To prepare your talking points for your op-ed, you may also want to reference Healthy School Meal for All's Take Action Toolkit. This toolkit includes background information on no-cost school meals, relevant Wisconsin legislation, potential benefits of Healthy School Meals for All, and then also additional resources, including reports from the Food Research and Action Center, or FRAC, that could be helpful when making your case and providing evidence. Now on to beginning to actually write your op-ed. For this workshop, we are using the structure created by the Op Ed project. Keep in mind that the structure is not prescriptive, but it is a helpful place to begin. Based on this structure, the first component of an op-ed is a lead or a hook. Leads are designed to grab a reader's attention, either using a personal story, recent news, or a statistic from a new study. Basically, a way to think about a lead is what is one line that you're going to ensure that a reader is going to see that line and then continue reading on. After the lead, you move on to a thesis, which is just a statement of your argument. For you, this will look something along the lines of Wisconsin should implement no-cost school meals for all K-12 students. After your thesis, you follow with your argument, which is briefly the evidence you have for your thesis, whether that's stats, news, expert quotes, or personal experience. After the argument, we kind of shift from the introduction into more of the body of our op-ed. You will start to begin fleshing out why you are advocating for your specific thesis at this point. In this case, you want to really explain why you are in support of Healthy School Meals for All or no-cost school meals. The body is composed of various points. For each point you make, you want to introduce the point and provide evidence and a conclusion. For example, you might advocate for no-cost school meals because of their benefit on academic outcomes. Evidence for that point may look like statistics on no-cost school meals leading to increased attendance, reduced suspensions, and higher test scores. Of course, then you wrap that up with a concluding sentence. This structure suggests making 3 points, and most op-eds do make 3 points, but of course, the number of points that you include in your op-ed is really up to you and how you want to distribute your limited word count. After making your case in the body of your op-ed, you will then kind of begin wrapping up your op-ed. Next step is to include a to be sure paragraph. The to be sure paragraph is really essential because it addresses counter-arguments that you may expect from readers in your community. This does not have to be super in-depth, but it is really just to show readers that you acknowledge that there are flaws and potential disagreements to be had with your op-ed. You acknowledge those, and also you address them. Finally, you will end with your conclusion. This oftentimes circles back to your lead, and you really want to use your conclusion to remind your reader what your op-ed's overarching takeaway is. Essentially, if your reader was just to read the lead and the conclusion, they should have an idea of what you're advocating for. To see this op-ed structure in practice, I'm going to walk you through these parts of an op-ed using an example op-ed published in the Colorado Sun by Tana Schutt. This opinion piece is called "The Cost of a Lunch Should Not Stand in the Way of Colorado School Children." Please note, you can reference this article using the link on this slide as well as in the op-ed structure template that we provide. The author begins their piece with their lead. They say, "I have 2 children, age 9 and 5, in the Pueblo School District, and I'm worried I'm going to need to find more than $100 a month to pay for their school lunches. As you can see, this author uses a personal anecdote related to no-cost school meals to engage the reader and encourage them to continue reading. They then move on to their thesis, that is, families like mine are looking at going into lunch debt as we struggle to cover the cost of living. We need to focus on our other needs like housing, groceries, and paying our bills. I hope Congress does the right thing and extends the waivers for free school meals, but it's not looking hopeful. In the thesis, we see a statement of their argument, hoping that Congress extends the waivers for free school meals, or at least advocacy for free school meals for all. After the thesis, we move on to the argument. Again, this is how the author is supporting their thesis. The author states, when federal pandemic support expires at the end of June, most of the country's schools no longer will feed all students free of charge. Meanwhile, school districts will receive less money from the federal government, about $2.91 per meal instead of $4.56, for those they do feed. Our family doesn't qualify for regular federal free school meal programs. That's because in Colorado, we'd need to earn less than $28,500 a year. It's a threshold that was created long before record inflation set in. It doesn't account for all Colorado children and families facing food insecurity. Here, again, we see the author supporting their thesis with statistics and first-hand experiences to really highlight the validity of their thesis. After orienting the reader to their specific argument, the author then moves on to their supporting points, that is, why they are advocating for no-cost school meals for all. Their first point looks at addressing stigma. They state, right now, kids who do qualify for free school lunches would, once again, face stigma on the lunch line. Healthy school meals for all will remove that stigma and make sure more students get the food that they need. Then they move on to their second point, focused on academic and educational outcomes. They state, it also will mean more students do better in school. Schools could spend less money on meal administrative costs and spend more money on nutrition and kitchen staffing. Then we get to our third point, which is focused on economic justice. The author states, groups like the National Farm to School Network have been campaigning to ensure that our school meals are aligned with values like economic justice and respecting workers and educators. The measures in Colorado will lead the way nationally on these issues and inspire states across the country to follow suit. For this point, I also want to highlight how the author supports their points with specific evidence. For example, no-cost school meals will create economic justice by giving schools the money that they need to train canteen staff, and then also by strengthening Colorado's economy by sourcing local ingredients from local farmers. After making their main arguments, the author then moves on to their to be sure paragraph. They state, it's true that I've heard some people express concern about how we'll be using tax to fund the measures, but they tend to change their mind when I say we'll be asking only those Coloradans who earn more than $300,000 a year to contribute. I also say that our children's health should be a priority for Colorado's future. Here, the author acknowledges and addresses potential counter-arguments of the costs of no-cost school meals and makes the case for why they are still necessary. Then the author ends the piece with the conclusion, that is, assuring healthy meals for all school children will mean one less thing standing in the way of our children's future, so all our children can succeed. This circles us back to the lead and thesis that no-cost school meals are a necessity in Colorado. After reviewing that op-ed, I now want to offer you some tips and tricks as you begin to write. First, use short sentences and paragraphs while writing your op-ed. You want it to be as easy for the reader to read as possible. Keep it clear and concise. Additionally, as you're writing your op-ed, use relevant facts and evidence. This helps support your points and make you seem credible. When you are using evidence, make sure that you cite your sources. Typically in op-eds, this is done by including hyperlinks. As you write, make sure that you're writing for your audience. Tailor your message to your specific community, using language that may resonate with them and avoiding jargon or technical terms. And then also check for submission guidelines. Make sure that you're complying with the word count and any other contact information you may have to provide. Specific to writing an op-ed for Healthy School Meals for All, I have a couple other things that I'd like you to consider. Consider writing from your professional background. If you're a member of the coalition, you likely have a unique background related to either education, school nutrition, nutrition in general, public health, etc. Having that background and sharing it with your readers helps give you authority on the topic area. It helps tell the reader why they should listen to you. I also consider you to address what language will resonate with your audience. For example, no-cost school meals is the language that is typically advocated for by Healthy School Meals for All because it's a little less polarizing than saying something along the lines of free school meals. Also, make sure that when you're writing, you pick a specific policy ask. This can look like supporting no-cost school meals generally in Wisconsin. You might support the inclusion of no-cost meals in the final 2025-2027 Wisconsin budget, or you might support this current circulating bills for no-cost school meals in Wisconsin. Whatever it is, just make that very explicit as you write. Now that we have covered what an op-ed is, as well as the general structure of an op-ed and talked through an example, we encourage you to participate in a self-guided brainstorming activity to begin actually developing talking points and written content for your op-ed. Use the chart on page 3 of the op-ed structure template to jot down some of your ideas and begin writing your op-ed. We encourage you to set a timer for the suggested time limits below and write down ideas for each op-ed section until time runs out. Of course, you will not be able to craft your entire op-ed within this brainstorming exercise, but the timing limits can be helpful to get things just written on paper as a start. On this slide, you can find the references utilized within this presentation. Feel free to look at these for additional resources. I hope this workshop provided some information on how to construct an op-ed, specifically within the context of advocating for no-cost school meals. We appreciate your advocacy. Thank you for listening.